So you want to figure out how to handle the differences that you have in your relationship. Well, we're going to talk about that very subject today. But before we go into the subject, let's talk about who I am and why you have come here. And if you're new to my channel, welcome to Marshauno. I am Marshauno. I am a life and relationship strategist, and I help Christian women that are married or in long-term relationships to stop feeling disconnected and unloved and shift you to feeling heard, understood, and appreciated. Now, if that's something that you need one-on-one help with, definitely reach out to me, and by a lot of means. The first mean is you can DM me. You can actually send me an email at marshauno@marshaunolanio.com, or you can go to my website marshauno.com and schedule your appointment today. Now, all of this is down in the description box below, so go and check it out and then set up or contact me the way that's best for you. Also, before I go any further, I wanted to tell each and every one of you, I wanted to invite you to download your free relationship resource library, because this is a guide. It is a reference that you can reference when it's needed, when there's no one that's answering the phone, when you're up to wit's end, like, how do I handle this particular situation? How can we get over this thing? What are some things that I actually need to do? So I am doing everything in my power to make sure that this is corrected. This is what this relationship resource library is all about. So go ahead and download your resource library today, because it's going to give you a better understanding of yourself, but then also give you better ways to communicate with your spouse. And how many of us do not need better communication? 90% of people and couples need to have better communication skills. So this is going to help you. It's going to give you some easy, practical strategies that you can whip out when you need it. Take them out of your toolbox when you need them, to be able to implement them into your relationship, so your relationship can continue to be better or get to the great stage. All right, so now let's jump into the topic of today: how to handle your differences in your relationship. Many people have differences. Many people have problems. Many people have just disagreements and situations that they do not know how to handle, or they're always constantly wondering, why does this thing keep coming up in my relationship over and over again? So we're going to talk about ways to stop those things from reoccurring, and I have 5 tips for you here today. So the first one is just literally just to accept that there are differences in your relationship, and then accept them as a way to balance each other out. Because here's the thing, there's that yin and yang, right? Even in my own marriage, I am the one that's silly, more down to earth. I'm like very flexible, etc. And then my husband is more rigid. He's more serious, and he's more analytical. So he's in his mind all the time. I'm just like, let's get things done. Oh, okay. So that didn't work out. Well, let's try it that way. So it's definitely that yin and yang even in my marriage, but it works for us. He can bring me back down to the serious side when I need to be, and I can bring him up to more laughter, more just life doesn't have to be that serious all the time. So they're all out there. I know that was a very easy example, but there are always going to be differences in your relationship. And so the thing that I want to encourage you to look out for is, can you deal with these differences for the long haul? Like, after a while, will these differences matter in a year? Will they matter in 5 years? Will they matter in 10 years? Will they matter in 20 years? And if your answer is yes to all of that, then you need to make some tough decisions and rethink the partnership that you have with your current partner or spouse. But if it's something that you're like, you know what, I've actually seen this before, I dealt with this before, and guess what? It doesn't bother me as much as it bothered me weeks ago or months ago. That's something that eventually you won't even pay attention to. But again, if it's getting under your skin, or if it's a part of your deal breakers that your spouse is constantly breaking, again, that's another conversation. That's definitely another video. But just realize that your differences are there as a way to balance both of you out. Number 2, expand your view. Just because it's different doesn't mean that it's wrong. Most of us, and I know that I'm not alone, but maybe you can tell me I'm alone. So most of us believe that our way is the only way to get from point A to point B, which is definitely not true. It's definitely not true. Most people see in black and white. There is no gray area. Well, I'm that gray area person. I know that I could do it your way, but if it doesn't sit well with me, I'm going to figure out another way to get it done, but it's still going to be done. The outcome is still going to be the same. It started off not being done. Guess what? Now it's done. Or I didn't want to take the streets the way that you told me to take them, or the way that you suggested that I take them. So I'll still be able to get us from home to the beach by going a different way. Right? So it just really depends on our perspective, and just realize if you are the person that sees everything in black and white, or you feel that your way is the only way to get things done, stop it. You're killing the attraction. You're killing the romance in your relationship, because everything does not have to be done one way all the time. Yeah, I'm letting that sink in, because your way does not always have to be the right way. And then you definitely don't want to be that spouse, that partner that has to point out everything that you deem is wrong. Again, that you deem is wrong. You don't want to be that spouse. You don't want to be that partner. Again, you are killing the attraction. You are killing the connection. And then your spouse is really going to start to wonder, I can never make this person happy. So why am I here? Why am I wasting all of my good years on this person that only finds the faults in me, that never brings up the beautiful parts of me, that can never see the good in me? So you need to switch that around. Switch it around, work on it, because there's always going to be some differences in your relationship, and specifically with your partner. Even if you guys are in same-sex relationships, there's going to be differences between the two of you, because you grew up in two different environments, sometimes even in two different countries or states. Your culture within your home was completely different in most cases. So it doesn't matter even if you guys grew up in the same country, or again, if you're in a same-sex relationship, none of that matters. Each and every one of us is going to bring some type of difference to our relationship. So you have to deal with it. You have to be ready to roll with the punches. Number three. Oh, I said three. Number three. When you know what they are, you won't compete. What does that actually mean? Some people have a tendency, again, like I said, to be right. But then also some people have a tendency to compete with their spouse. And sometimes they're not doing it on purpose, but other times they are. Like, again, wanting to always be right. Or having to, you know what, you got your degree? Oh, damn it, I'm going to get my degree. Or you found out a way to make money? I'm going to find out a way to make money, which that one kind of ain't bad. But you get my drift. Everything that you do, he or she has to do, because they have to do it bigger and better than you. You do not have to compete with your spouse, and you really shouldn't be competing with them, because again, when you know what they are, when you know who he or she actually is deep down inside, in the core, and even knowing yourself that way, you won't feel like you need to compete with your spouse. And it's not a competition anyway. Y'all supposed to be working on the same team, right? Supposed to be working on the same team anyway. So it's not about competition at this point. It's about building a legacy together. It's about building, let me repeat that. It's about building a legacy together. No competition. Number 4, in order to handle the differences in your relationship, there are going to be moments and times, and especially when you don't even want to, when compromise is necessary in order to move the needle forward in your relationship. Compromise is something that is going to always be there. You're going to have to think about putting your spouse first, and you might even have to not do your thing today. Still do your thing, just not in this moment. Maybe not today. So maybe you guys are talking about what it is that you wanted to do, and you both came up with different things. And so you could compromise in the sense that, okay, let's go and do your thing for a couple hours, and then we'll go do my thing for a couple hours. So that could be a compromise. Or a compromise could look like, well, okay, since your thing, maybe it's a sporting event that you just hate. So let's just say that. Since your sport, I want to go because I want to be with you, but that's not necessarily my thing. How about we go and watch your game today? And then when I want to go to the opera, or something that you know your spouse is not gung-ho about, that you really are gung-ho about, and you want them to participate. So when that thing comes into town, or the next time they're doing that thing, or I looked it up, I have the date. We do your thing today, and then we'll do my thing at a later date. So it's all about compromise. And really, it could be as simple as, in my apartment, it's a pretty small kitchen. So compromise for me sometimes looks like I need to allow my husband to go into the kitchen, because literally it's really small. I forgot what they call it. It's not pantry kitchen. I forgot what they call it. But anyway, it's a really small kitchen. So we definitely can be in there at the same time, but it depends on what I'm doing. I might be needing to move around the entire small kitchen, and then he's in my way. So my compromise could look like me allowing him to go in there and do whatever it is that he needs to do. I'm out of his way, and then I go back in there and clean up the dishes or make my food or whatever it is that I was trying to do. That could be a compromise, at least in my relationship. Again, it does, and my point is, it does not have to be something big in order for you to think about compromise. Compromise can be in very, very small areas within your relationship, but you're definitely going to have to compromise at some point in your relationship. But again, you're not sacrificing. Did you notice that I said that you do your thing today, he does his thing tomorrow, or maybe you guys split the day up doing each other's thing? I never said just relinquish and say, okay, let's just go do your thing. That's not what compromise is. Most people get that confused. That is not compromising. That is actually sacrificing. And you never feel good. You always feel like you're losing when you're sacrificing. So compromise and sacrifice are two different things. Most people think that they're compromising when they're really sacrificing. So that's why I wanted to make sure I gave you some clear-cut examples of what compromising is. Compromising and sacrificing are two different things. Number 5. Know that some of your differences will not change. Know that some of your differences will not change, and they will not be resolved or even solved. Again, those are the things that I mentioned earlier. As long as they're not your deal breakers, as long as there's no type of abuse, and that's something that you can just be like, after a while, that don't bother me as much. Okay? That's the thing that I'm talking about right here. Some of your differences will not change. It could be something that's really deep-seated within you, something that you grew up with that you feel really is right. I mean, like deep down to your core, it really is right. Well, maybe that's just something that you just have to let go and allow to happen or to be there. And so you're not changing the core or even trying to change the core of who your spouse is. It just is what it is. He is or she is who they are. And you're not changing that thing, nor are you trying to change that thing about him or about her. Thank you for taking a few moments out of your day to hear these tips and strategies. Now let me know down in the comment section below which one or two you are going to start implementing, or you have been doing but you know that you need to tighten up on and do better. Please let me know down in the comment section below. Again, I am Marshauno, your favorite life and relationship strategist, and I help Christian women that are married or in long-term relationships to stop feeling disconnected and unloved and shift you to feeling heard, understood, and appreciated. Go and download your free resource library today. The link is bit.ly/relationship library. If there's something that you're missing, it is in the description box below. Again, it is bit.ly/relationship library, all one word. I love you guys. There's nothing that you can do about it. I will see you on the other side. Bye.